I live way out in this country where the roads are mostly gravel. The nights are pitch black and you can't even get pizza delivered. That's exactly how I like it. Peaceful, quiet, nobody bothering you. Or so I thought until one Saturday morning I looked out my window and saw nearly 80 strangers splashing around in my pool like it was a public water park. And the kicker, I'm not even in the HOA they claimed gave them the right to be there. Let me rewind a bit. I've owned this little stretch of land for about 12 years now. Nothing flashy, just a couple of acres and a modest ranch house. My wife had one dream when we bought the place. She wanted a pool. Not a crazy resort style one, just a nice in-ground spot to cool off during those 100-degree summers. So I built her one, tucked it into a corner of the property we barely used. Best decision I ever made. We've had family barbecues out there, lazy Sunday floats, even the occasional neighborhood kid over if we knew their folks. But over the years, our quiet slice of heaven started to change. Developers moved in, chopped up the surrounding farmland, and before I knew it, bam, a whole neighborhood popped up right across the fence line. With it came the HOA. Now, to be clear, I'm not part of it. Never signed a single paper, never paid a dime. My land predates that development, and legally, I'm completely independent. I figured they'd stick to their new builds and leave us old-timers alone. I figured wrong. A few folks from the new neighborhood would make friendly comments like, "Wow, must be nice having that pool," or "Do you offer memberships?" I'd laugh it off, not thinking much of it. Until that Saturday. It was around 10:30 in the morning when I noticed the smoke, not from my grill, mind you, but from several grills. I walked out back and found a full-on party happening on my property. Canopies, coolers, folding chairs, a Bluetooth speaker blasting country music. Kids were doing cannonballs into my pool. People I'd never seen in my life were wandering around like they owned the place. I asked the nearest woman what was going on, and she casually handed me a printed flyer complete with the words HOA Summer Splash Bash Location Community Pool C Map. And yep, they had circled my property. I asked her who was in charge, and she pointed me toward a smug-looking guy in a golf polo. I marched over. "You want to tell me why there's a circus in my backyard?" He looked me up and down and said, "We're just having a little gathering for our wonderful HOA members. You're not on the list, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave." I blinked. "You're asking me to leave my own damn land?" He crossed his arms. "This area falls under HOA jurisdiction now. It's designated communal space. You can take it up with our attorney if you'd like." I told him he had about 5 seconds to clear everyone out before I got my shotgun. His whole expression changed. He smirked, but his eyes narrowed. "You show up with a weapon and you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. We've got lawyers that would bury you." So I did what any sane person would do. I went inside and called the county sheriff's department. When the deputies showed up, I explained everything. Lucky for me, they were local. They knew whose land this was, They made everyone pack up and leave, including Mr. Golf Polo, who ranted the whole time about how he'd sue the department and how this wasn't over. Spoiler, it wasn't. I figured he'd try something petty, maybe leave trash in the yard or file a bogus complaint. What I didn't expect was arson. A week later, I was running errands in town, gone maybe 2 hours. When I got back, the sky above my house was thick with smoke. I could smell the chemical burn before I even pulled into the drive. My pool was on fire. The water was burning. Turns out, this genius had broken in and dumped gallons of gasoline into the pool, the filters even onto the surrounding grass. Then lit a match from a safe distance. It was like watching a war zone back there. The flames were spreading toward the crops, creeping up toward the house. Thank God the fire department got there in time. Took them a while to fully contain it, though, because even the water was flammable. Afterwards, one of the firefighters pulled me aside, giving me the side eye like I had started it. I told him flat out I had an idea of who did this. I just needed proof. See, I don't have a high-end surveillance setup, just a couple motion-triggered cameras for basic security. But wouldn't you know it, one of them caught Mr. HOA president himself sneaking onto my land with gas cans and pouring them all around. The footage wasn't 4K, but it was clear enough. Clear enough for the sheriff to issue an arrest warrant. And just when I thought it was over, this guy pulls his dumbest move yet. He claims again that it wasn't my property, that he was trying to neutralize dangerous chemicals I had allegedly left near the pool, and that it was his duty as a community leader. He dragged the entire HOA into it, trying to get their legal team to bail him out. Bad move. When the court finally ruled that yes, beyond any doubt, the land was mine and always had been, his whole argument collapsed. He was found guilty of trespassing, arson, destruction of property, and endangerment. Sentenced to several years in prison. But I wasn't done. I sued the HOA directly for allowing this man to act in their name, to host events on private land they had no rights to, and for knowingly distributing materials, that party flyer containing false information. I won. They were forced to pay damages not just for the fire, but for the entire cost of draining, decontaminating, and rebuilding the pool system. That water couldn't be used again. Every pipe, every filter replaced. I also pushed the court for one last thing: dissolution of the HOA. It was granted. Turns out, when an HOA gets involved in criminal activity, especially trespassing and arson, it's grounds for a full shutdown. The board disbanded, their little bylaws revoked, and the community leader they worshipped, serving time in state prison. Funny thing is, I didn't start any of this. I just built a pool for my wife. I didn't ask to be dragged into this circus. But once they stepped over the line onto my land, into my home, they left me no choice. And to this day, the only thing I regret is not building a fence sooner. Now, I want to hear from you. What would you have done if a rogue HOA tried to steal your land and nearly set your home on fire? Do you think they should have been shut down entirely? Or should only the president have paid the price? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've ever dealt with HOA drama, I'm all ears. Don't forget, to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who thinks their HOA is bad.